time you supposed to talk, Ernie? Who's in charge around here anyway?
Dad left.
Dad left? Well, that means Mom's in charge. Where's she at? So I'm going to try to get him to turn this way if I can. I had to help him a little. Notice I had to get to the middle of that pin pretty quick. If I stayed over there, there's no way he was going to turn over there. Okay, so I had to get over there in the middle, make him go a little. Just going to make him go forward. He's a little hesitant. Whenever I kind of increase the pressure a little, like when I whacked him earlier with the lead rope, when I just increase the pressure here, he kind of just throws his butt up in the air. So I'll go ahead and put a little more pressure on him. So if you didn't like a little bit of pressure, I'll give you a whole lot. See what you think about that. Now that's definitely not going to work later in this training, but it's going to work right now. That's the wrong theory when you're talking about bits, pulling on one and doing stuff. If they can't handle a little pressure, you definitely don't want to increase that pressure. But right now in the round pin, that's exactly what he needs. As far as if I kind of whack him once, he kicks his butt up or does something, I'll whack him 100 times until he decides, okay, I guess I can just go forward. That way he starts figuring out that he doesn't need to give attitude, he just needs to go forward. I'm just going to let him drop for a minute here. I'm going to ask him to float. I'm not concerned about whether, I'm not concerned about whether a horse walks, trots, lopes, on command, does everything perfect in the round pin. What I'm concerned about is when I ask them to go, they go. And when I stop, they stop and pay attention. Okay? Now, did I ask him to stop? No. I just stopped. And that way he decided, well, maybe when Cal stopped asking me to go, I can quit. I'm not saying it's always wrong to ask a colt to stop in the round pin, because I'll do that at times. But generally speaking, I'd rather get them to want to stop on their own. I'll give them the opportunity to stop and let them make the decision. Now, when I kind of talked to you guys for a minute and turned around, what was he doing? He was going, right? He made the decision to go. So I'm going to I'm not going to reward it, but I'm going to encourage that decision. I'm going to go ahead and make him lope a little now. Maybe just lope him around, see if he picks up the correct lead there. He's on the left lead right now behind the end. I'm just going to push him around, see if he wants to change. Just because I'm curious, not really because it matters right now. Now I'm just going to stop. Stand still. So you do whatever you want. If you think it's right to go, you go. If you think it's right to stop, you can stop. Okay? Now, stop. I like that. I'd rather have him stop. Kind of somewhat pay attention to me, so I might drive him nice and easy. Not going to take it. Did he do the right thing overall? Yes. So I'm not going to hurt his feelings and knock him back forward, make him run off or anything silly. I'm just going to kind of help him say, hey, you stopped and you were supposed to. But I'd rather you stop and kind of do this. Keep driving it forward, see if I can draw that eye to me. If he stops, I'll keep him moving. I just kind of draw him up here, just let him look at it. He looked at me right there, so I'll back off. He's a little tougher on the right side, as you guys can see already. Horses are just like us, right-handed or left-handed. One side's always going to be easier than the other. Mentally and physically, that's just kind of how it works. Because it's mental, it's also physical. We'll just push him forward again here. Just walk him, maybe trot him a little. Now I'll give him the opportunity to stop. I'll stand in the middle, see what he wants to do. Just thinking about it, there he kind of looked at me. He's like, Cal, why do you keep making me do it? And I just say, that's why. Because I want you to think about me. When he thinks about me, we're better off. Now, when he thinks about me for just a second, then he puts his head back the other way, not a big deal. I'm just going to say, hey, keep thinking about me a little. Good. So, that's all right for right now. Sure, you want to come help me? I think I'm going to take these off. Any questions so far? You guys got it all? Good. Sometimes I do a clinic and there's no question. I don't know if that's because I'm really good or I'm really bad. Like you're afraid to ask or I covered it all. Maybe somewhere in between would be a good place. So, what I'm going to do here real quick is step out. I'm going to let Sherry lunge this horse around. This is Sherry Hartley, everybody. She didn't know I was going to put her on the spot. I didn't either. I just kind of do things seat in my pants most of the time. I'm going to let Sherry lunge him around a few times just to kind of get him moving. And what she's going to do, if she remembers, is kind of move him around and get his heart rate going and maybe cut him off in the fence 2 or 3 times and just kind of get him worked up. Now, is the goal here to get him crazy and get him worked up and get him excited? No. But the goal is to get his heart rate up, to get him moving, get him thinking that there's a lot of pressure on him. Get him thinking that maybe this isn't all going to be just real fun. And then what's going to happen is, when I get on him for the first time, he might think he's a little better off than what he was just doing. That way maybe he'll kind of figure out that life's not as bad as he thought. Yeah, just go ahead and take him both ways, cut him off, make him go the other way, just kind of make his life better. So all I'm asking her to do is get that horse moving, get his heart rate up, cut him off into the fence, put some pressure on him so he kind of figures out that he's going to have to work for a living. Now why are we doing this right after I just got him nice and quiet and paid attention to me? You guys aren't going to ask the question, I'll just ask it myself. And the reason is because I want him kind of thinking that the first time I get on him is not going to be the worst thing that's ever happened to him. Okay? Now, is this really bad? Is this like really bad for his career or bad for his life? No, it's good. Sure, still. Is this hurting him any? Of course not. But we're putting a little more pressure on him than he's maybe comfortable with. And that way, when I go to get on him, he's thinking, well, this is kind of nice. This is a good deal when this guy gets on me because I get to rest a little bit. Okay? That's good. Sure, stay right there. Thank you. Another reason we're doing this is because let's say he does buck. Let's say he does break in half. Let's say he does take off running and try to jump over the pen or do something silly. Well, a lot of times I think colts scare themselves when they do stuff like that. And then that's why they get worried. That's why they have a big blow up, because they're scared. It's the feeling inside of them. It's not the fact that they're worried about that. That's why they bucked. Usually it's they jumped once and that scared them because they've never really had that much energy in their career. They've never really had that much going on. They've never really felt like that. They have all these things going on inside them. They're not sure what it is. And they've never had a saddle on them that way and somebody sitting on their back and all this stuff. But really, it's just all of a sudden all their emotions just went right through the roof. And because of that one little initial jump and their emotions got worried and their heart rate got up, that scares them so they just blow up. Okay? Well, instead, I'm going to try to make sure that when I get on him, he's already had a little bit of that feeling. Not that we're going to try to kill him before we get on him, but we're going to make him think that maybe just a little bit, what we just did to him, we just got his heart rate going, made him blow a little bit, got him moving a little bit. So if he does jump or buck, you know, he might still buck me off, but at least he's kind of knowing that the reason he bucked isn't because he was just worried that his heart rate finally got pumping. The worst thing you want to do is get a colt and you just kind of baby him around and not do anything with him and kind of walk him around nice and easy and then go to ride him. Because if he does decide to go somewhere and then he gets worried because of the fact that he's running or the fact that he moved or jumped or something like that. I think we'll just leave this off for now. Kind of go back and do all this stuff one more time. After we got him excited, we'll just move around, pat on his butt a little bit. Thing I might do with these colts after I get through some of this is, so I patted that once and was about to move on. He decided to go somewhere else, so we'll go back to it. Let him figure out that it's okay. Didn't need to go anywhere. One thing I do on these colts a little bit is kind of pull their nose to me. Most important thing you need to teach a colt when you get on them is how to follow their nose. It's kind of like the #1 foundation of anything, to teach a horse to steer and guide and follow their nose so they can learn how to pick their shoulders up, so they can learn how to go where you want them to go. I'll go ahead and start pulling on him and make him come this way. Here. I want to wait for these feet just a little bit. You know, it's not just about the footfall when they're this young, it's just about their body in general. I break it up. Instead of worrying about their 4 little bitty feet, I just worry about their great big hips and their great big shoulders. I want to look at their shoulders, see if they're coming to me. Now, it's an easy sign to see those shoulders because at the bottom of those shoulders, there's 2 feet attached to them. So you can look at the foot and say, well, if his foot's